we're just going to talk a little bit about the detail of the programme. So obviously coronavirus has affected all of us in many different ways, but particularly the needs of the UK migration refugee sector. And we've been really lucky, and again with the passion of the people involved in designing this programme, been able to get some funding to deliver a free online programme, obviously in the times of coronavirus, all behind our screens, that will provide tools, skills and development. So again, back to what Baljeet said, it maybe won't be what you thought leadership would be. It's about developing you and honing yourself as a leader to overcome those challenges that you're facing now, and again, like Baljeet said, in the future. One of the greatest things that I always hear about Clore programs is about the relationships that people build with the people on the program. And I've seen in the chat box here lots of people saying, hello, I'm so-and-so and I'm from here. That's exactly it. So it's a facilitation of bringing you all together, because we know that you will learn as much, if not more, from each other than you will do even from the formal input that we give you looking at leadership. So we think that this programme and the series of interventions we've got here, we want to get at the end of this programme an impactful and transformational leadership for the sector, and that it will achieve safe, healthy and equal society for all. And all the programmes we do at Clore are focused on a better society, so working with individuals and their communities to create a better world around us. So, like I said, we're really lucky to get funding for this summer programme, and it's co-designed, co-delivered by Clore Social Leadership and the LEx Movement, and it's been made possible by the Migrant Exchange, which is funding from a whole host of amazing organisations: Paul Hamlin Foundation, Barrow Cavalry Trust, Esme Fairbairn Foundation, Joseph Roundtree Charitable Trust, Unbound Philanthropy, Social Change Initiative, Louise Obi-Drake Foundation, Metropolitan Migration Foundation and AB Charitable Trust. So an amazing collaboration of so many different people. So application criteria, you may have already seen this. We've got 2 streams of applications that we'll be asking you to kind of align yourself to. So we've got emerging leaders, and these are people, and the proxies we use are who have got 3 to 6 years experience of leading projects, teams or departments. Now, just to reiterate, this doesn't need to be formal in a formal leadership role or in a paid role. So it might be that you volunteered and have experience in a voluntary capacity, or in a community-based capacity. It doesn't need to be in a paid role. And so those 3 to 6 years experience can be a combination of all of those different, and it doesn't need to be consecutive 3 years. You could have experience, but it's just that the reason for saying that is that you've got experience to be able to draw on, to be able to share with other people of leading. And then we've got the experienced leader stream, which is for people with over 6 years experience. So the same situation, you've got more than 6 years experience of leading projects, people, over whether that be paid employment or voluntary employment. So we think this is going to be a popular programme. We've got space for a lot of people, but we do have priority on this programme for lived experience leaders, and you can see that we've got a definition there of what lived experience means. So it's people who have got direct first-hand experience of immigration systems and have kind of used their real life lived experience to activate their leadership. Small and medium-sized charities and groups, and 50% of places we'll be looking to give to people who are not based in London, so those working outside of London. So just a little bit of an intro, and Baljeet did an amazing job as well of talking about the approach that we have at Clore about leadership development, but I'll just briefly explain our 2 models. So when anyone engages with any kind of programme at Clore, you will go through all the stages that you'll see on this left-hand model, our development framework. And these are kind of key things, I think, to remember about any leadership journey, that it starts with you. And so you spend some time understanding yourself. And like Baljeet said, many social leaders do not get enough time to reflect on and really think about their strengths, their values, their motivations, and to understand how those things play out as leaders in your behaviour and your attitude. And so really understanding yourself is an important place to start, because it enables you to understand how you then operate in the context in which you're operating in, and how you better work with people. Now, Be Yourself is about authenticity, and we do quite a lot of work around understanding. We know that the best leaders and the best leadership and the happiest people in life are the people that can be themselves. And this will be a big part of this programme, in kind of unpicking that and enabling people to be authentic leaders. And then Balji talked about this, and I can tell you, with the hundreds of leaders I've worked with at Clore, looking after yourself is one of the fundamental lessons that you will take away from this experience, because I can guarantee you all, as social leaders and people working with migrant refugees, you know, beyond COVID, even before COVID hit, you will be working above and beyond any requirement, any expectation for the people that you work for. And so one of the things that we also get our leaders to think about is how you really look after yourself when you are leading, because if you don't look after yourself, that can lead to burnout. And if you aren't topped up to and able to be your best, then it's really hard to help other people effectively. So it can sometimes feel a bit selfish, but actually it's the opposite. It's really important that you look after yourself to be able to look after other people. As I mentioned, context is really important. So some of you here might be in big organisations, might be in small ones, some in community groups. There's a whole raft of different contexts in which we all operate in. And so understanding what our operating context is, looking at things like foresight, is really important in terms of understanding yourself, the context you work in, and then how do you best work with and other people when you have that information and that data. And then the bits on the outside of this framework are just the kind of skills that people, particularly in organisations, would need to have to be able to lead organisations effectively. But the development and the leadership development is in the centre of that framework. And those three areas is really where we focus in on all the programmes we deliver. And then just briefly to mention the model on the right-hand side, that's our capabilities framework. So there are a gazillion frameworks out there, but we think this is one that touches on all the key skills, attitudes and behaviours that social leaders need to have to be effective. And that framework is quite detailed, and it goes into lots more detail underneath that. But the passionate advocate piece of this framework is the bit I think that really stands out for social leaders and for the people coming on this programme. And you'll have an opportunity to explore your strengths against this framework, and also possible areas for development, and also just to kind of understand your strengths so you can continue to build on them, like Balji said. So programme elements, we've got three key elements to this programme, and at Clore, everything that we do is about learning from peers as well. So all of these different interventions, except for coaching, although I would advocate peer coaching as well, you will be doing with other people, and you'll be able to build networks and relationships. So Discover is a 4-week online programme, completely online, where we go through the development model actually. So week 1, you'll learn about yourself, and you'll have some inputs about understanding your own leadership and your own values, and understand your own motivations. And then go through understanding context, working with and through others. And it's kind of an introduction to going through that process, so that at the end you leave with a greater understanding of yourself and a plan for what you might seek to do post that 4-week Discover programme. Coaching is a one-to-one individual support, and coaching on this programme is guided towards your development and your leadership journey. So it's about helping you understand where you are now, what your goals are going forward, and then how you're going to get there, how build those steps. And then action learning, one of the most popular things that we have on all of our programmes, and we've got a video from Ruth, but she'll probably want to say a few words as well. These are, it's a peer learning process, and it's small groups of people who come together to ask questions of someone who has a challenge or an opportunity or something they want to bring to that group. And you explore that through asking really good questions. So you learn a whole host of different skills through participating in action learning. So yeah, done a bit about Discover, some expectations, the details of it. So we say it's about 4 to 6 hours a week broadly, and yeah, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, depending on how much of the content you choose to consume. And it's there to kind of complement your day-to-day work. There's 2 parts to it. There's consumption of content, and then there's the opportunity for you to self-reflect on the content that you've had. And you'll do it with a group of peers, and so you get to meet new people, and you get to kind of critique and challenge and think about the content with those peers on that programme. And the way it works functionally, just so you know what to expect, on a Monday, the content unlocks. So we've built it over 4 weeks where the content unlocks every week. So those of you that might be tempted to rush through the content and do it all, and then we've built it so that you don't do that. So you actually are forced to do the reflection. So each week on a Monday, you'll get the content released, you'll get further information about that content. And then on a Thursday, we release the task. So the idea is that you will do the content, you will have time to consume the content and reflect on it before you're asked to do something with it. So again, you're consuming the content in a way that isn't focused only on the task you need to do, that you're actually exploring it more broadly. Then you have a task on a Thursday. One's a practical task that you'll be asked to share with your group that you're on the Discover programme with, and one's a reflexive task, which is just for you. So you have across the week until the Sunday to kind of consolidate your learning. And across the 4 weeks, there's 2 live classrooms you'll be invited to attend. The first one is a kind of getting to know each other on the programme, and the second one is an opportunity to break out and have discussions in that group. So at the end of this programme, you'll be familiar with and understand the characteristics of what good leadership is from a Clore context and the research around what good social leadership looks like. You will have developed self-reflection skills, and you would have been forced to do some reflection. You'll have greater awareness and understanding of yourself as a leader, and you will, at the end of the programme, leave with a development plan, so you'll kind of understand where it is you want to go next, because leadership is a lifelong journey. It never ends, so this is just one part of that journey, and you'll know where it is you want to go next on your next step, and you'll know what actions to take. You'll be better networked with other social leaders, particularly migrant refugee sector leaders. And we know, and people tell us at the end of this programme, that they come away more confident and kind of motivated and empowered to continue their leadership journey. So here are the Discover dates. There are various cohorts. So when you do the application, you're able to apply and select which preference you would have for a date for Discover. So you'll get access to these slides as well, so you can look at them in more detail to see which one might best suit you. So coaching, it's not counselling, it's not therapy, it is working with a professional person who is going to help you on your leadership development journey, explore where you are right now, where you want to get to, and the actions that you are going to take between where you are now and where you want to get to, providing you with tools, support, and actually just mostly really good questioning and really good playing back at you some of the things that you've said, and to challenge you on some of your self-limiting beliefs, I think is one of the great things that coaches can offer. So we've got a roster of different coaches across the social sectors with various different experience, and the coaching will take place from July to September, and we're suggesting that it's whoever engages in the coaching process will have 4 one-to-one coaching sessions with a kind of four-week interval between each of those. So it's a kind of prolonged engagement with the same coach each time for 4 sessions, where you get to build on your leadership journey and your goals. And we have a video from Ruth to explain action learning.
Action learning is a form of self-managed learning. So it's a group of peers who come together regularly over a period of time and look at the real life challenges that they each face. It's a structured process, there's a discipline and a rigour to it, and it's based on asking open questions that explore and challenge. People work on an issue in some depth, maybe for an hour or more, and they use the critical thinking of their peers to help them come up with new solutions, fresh ideas. Over time, the trust builds up in a group, and of course, people learn from the issues that their peers have also brought to the group. Action learning can be used either to bring individuals together to form an action learning set who perhaps work in different fields, in different sectors, who may have different professional backgrounds. Or it can be used within an organisation. And there, more often, it's used for groups of peers who come together either around a project or around a theme, or perhaps it's part of a leadership development programme or a culture change initiative. Anything where they can gain from structured reflection time with a group of peers. I set up Action Learning Associates nearly 14 years ago, and the company's really grown. We now have 18 associates, 4 administrative support people, and we've worked in all sectors across the UK and internationally, from global organisations to government departments to arts organisations and international NGOs. We specialise now also in action learning facilitator training. So we'll either train individuals who want to add action learning to their portfolio, or we go into companies and train their staff so that they can deliver action learning programmes. An exciting new development of the last couple of years has been virtual action learning, and we both facilitate virtual action learning for global organisations, and we also go in and train people in virtual action learning. Action learning is our core business. We're experts in it, and we have a wealth of experience in using action learning to help individuals develop and organisations to achieve their aims.
It's a few more years than 14, I think, isn't it, Ruth, now?
21 now.
Yeah, I remember the 20 birthday celebrations. Right. Yeah, so we've got 2 more slides. So just to say that the action learning set will be determined by the group. So the group that you put into, the dates and the times and things will be determined by who's in your group. So that will be, we can't say exactly when they will be. And then just the final slide. So you probably are interested to know the deadline, 22nd of June, 11:59 specifically, so get it in before midnight. And let us know your preferred Discover date and any other programme elements that you'd like to participate in.